Okay, we'll open our meeting here at, looks like about 7:02. And I would ask that we would stand for our invocation. Mr. John Roper is going to do the prayer tonight, and then we'll remain standing for our pledge of allegiance.
Father in heaven, we come to you with thanksgiving and praise for many blessings that you give us each day. Pray that you would bless this meeting, give us wisdom to make decisions according to your word and according to your will. Pray that you bless this meeting in Jesus' name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we should have a short and sweet meeting if all goes as planned, if Louis doesn't talk too much, but okay, all kidding aside. All kidding aside. Before I open up for privileges of the floor, I'd like to introduce Britta Kuo. And she wants to just give us a little information on CPR and first aid training. So if you'd like to stand and give that to us.
Hello everybody, thank you for having me tonight. Hello. I'd like to introduce myself as Britta Kuo. I am a Pattersonville resident, a wife, a daughter, one of your local volunteer EMTs for the Pattersonville Fire Department. In addition to that, I also happen to own a company called Vital Force CPR and First Aid. So my mission and my company's mission is to certify you in life-saving skills of CPR, AED use, and first aid in an effort to increase pretty much your capacity to handle emergency situations, from calling 911 to your allergic reactions, to simple falls, lumps, and bumps, until the time that help arrives, whether it's Rotterdam or Mohawk ambulance. One of the reasons why I am speaking here tonight briefly is because I'm going to be holding a course here on October 29th, and this is open to the public to certify you through the National Safety Council. It is my understanding that we don't do these things too often, but my goal is to create a culture of safety within the Drainsburg, Pattersontown, and Princetown area. That really is just a win-win for every single person who lives here. So I invite you to come sign up for the course. We also teach the convenience of your home. And again, once you certify, it helps you to manage situations in your home prior to police arrival, fire, or EMS. If you have any questions, please feel free to pick up one of my flyers or my business cards. I'm here to act as a liaison between you and the officials. Even if you do not choose to use my services, I'm always here to refer you or to answer questions. So, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yes.
Whereabouts is that training? I didn't catch the 29th.
On October 29th, we're holding the training here in the back community room.
Okay.
It's comfortable. There is a cafeteria. For those guests, I can most certainly provide coffee. We have easy access to bathrooms. It is handicap accessible. And I am competitively priced among the American Heart Association, the National Council Safety Council, and it's an all-day course.
What time does it start?
It starts at 10:30 in the morning. And we do make it family friendly, so please bring your children. I cannot promise it will be very intriguing to them, but we do encourage the use of play with our trainer EpiPens. I want them to get familiar handling a stethoscope, seeing the mannequins, and seeing some what would normally be scary things. That exposure is critical. So I don't mind crying babies or the little ones running around. We do have a very flexible course that we will be teaching here. So,
Okay.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we're actually going to head out and go eat some late dinner tonight. Enjoy the rest of the meeting, everybody.
So you've got some information up there?
Pardon?
You have some information there?
My information from flyers all the way to business cards is actually located right on the front table
Oh,
out
we're
there.
outside, okay.
And check out some other brochures there too, because it's a great community resource.
So long.
Just the one day? It is just the one day. We are also holding a possible course on November 12th here. Now, I was told again not to do it every single month here, but I really want to see what some of the feedback is from the community, see how feasible it is, and potentially start offering some lower cost options in the future. So this will be the pilot course on
You
it.
have to sign up in order to come to that day?
That is correct.
So
I
in
do.
other words, if you have so many people, then you say, well, come down at 12 then?
Yes, so I can only teach a certain amount of individuals. This ensures that I teach you the right skills, the right way, in the right time, and that the quality of the class does not decrease by opening it up to everybody. All of my contact information is on my business card as well as those flyers, and you would have to register with me ahead of time. There certainly is no cancellation fee. I understand that emergencies happen, probably more so than anybody. Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
All right, we'll open up for privileges of the floor at 7:08.
I'll just stand here since the podium isn't in its place. Sandra Jerzinski, Annis Road. I decided to come to this town board meeting because, like many Princetown residents, we have some serious concerns revolving around how these meetings are conducted and the decision-making procedures of this board. First of all, I would like to impress upon the supervisor especially the importance of adhering to parliamentary procedures. This is a tool necessary for effective, efficient, and democratic outcomes. This little book, Robert's Rules in plain English, is a handy tool for any leader to use, whether it be a town board or any type of meeting. It was in 1876 that General and Engineer Henry Martin Robert published it. Regrettably, there is one, perhaps two members who might not agree with the resolutions that have been approved, quote unquote, recently. The first concern I and many other town residents have is the insertion of bringing religion into this forum. Our country was founded on religious freedom, but also the separation of church and state. To call upon the Almighty is a violation of that separation. Furthermore, it is bad theology and also blasphemous to call upon God to be one's hitman to, quote unquote, remove some individuals who challenge the present board. I refer to an article dated Thursday, the 15th of December, in the Albany Times-Union, not the Gazette. The article was written by Paul Nelson, and it's an interview with this town's current supervisor, in which he labels those who challenge him and his puppet masters as mean-spirited, evil, and negative. Now I ask you, is this the language of a leader? I hardly think so. The next concern revolves around resolutions regarding pay and positions of town employees. Case in point, the court clerk's position is currently vacant because the board refused to increase the pay rate. There was no attempt whatsoever at negotiating for this increase in pay for Rose Norkis, a very capable, seasoned, and efficient individual. Of course, this action makes the job of the town justice rather cumbersome. That was exactly what the intent was, to make Mr. Miller's job harder. because apparently he's not in anyone's pocket, and he will prevail. When this town was in its infancy, first came the town justice position, and sometime later, the clerk's position was created. I wonder why. This board is going backwards. So the question is, who really is mean-spirited and evil? Who's trying to destroy whom? In the first newsletter of the current board, which came out, 4.5 months after assuming positions, it was pointed out that the computers of the town hall were no longer supported by Microsoft. Why was this a revelation? When in 2013, the former town supervisor, Mike Joyce, brought this fact to light for the town board. The majority of the then board members, as it is now, didn't see the need to incur the expense of replacing the computers, and ultimately, the resolution was shot down. You see, the majority members don't use computers. I dare say they can even write their name on it. When one has a job to hire out, one wisely gets at least 3 quotes from different sources, eliminating friends and family acquaintances. This board apparently doesn't feel the need to do this. This is irresponsible and costly in the long run. In closing, I would urge the majority members to check in with their conscience and do what is best for all residents of Princetown. Thank you. If you want a copy of this, I have it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Good evening, everyone. Jim Pavoldi, Princetown, Vernon Drive, Princetown. No, we don't need that. No, I'll be short and sweet. I did send out the emails and I made some phone calls looking for input in the newsletter. I didn't get a lot, to be honest with you. So I'm going to do one last shot. I've got about maybe another week to collect anything anybody would like to give me. The easiest way is to give me a call or to send it to my email. And I can give you that after the meeting. I think it's on the last newsletter too. It's jpav777@gmail.com. Anything you want to put into the newsletter, I've really got to have it by the next week. There will be a feature in this newsletter about the wall that heals that was here over the summertime, so we're going to have some photos and stuff like that. And by the way, I'm going to say something about the town hall too and about the town council. I think you guys have done a tremendous job this year so far. We've got the new doors, it's all ADA approved, we've got new security system, we've got new computers, we finally have an internet with high speed that works. I don't know, I think you guys have accomplished a lot. We've got a lot of paving done, we got our whole Princetown Plaza done, so you guys have accomplished a lot. I know that other people apparently don't think that, but you deserve the credit for doing what you did. I personally appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, anyone else?
No, I apologize.
Okay, well, if there's no other comments at this time, we'll close privilege of the floor then at 7:18. Okay, and we'll move on with the reading of our agenda.
It is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of the September 6, 2016 regular meeting are approved or as amended.
We have a motion to accept this.
I'll make the motion.
Doug?
I'll second.
Tom?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 223 to 251 in the amount of $21,704.12.
We have a motion to accept this.
I'll make it.
Lou?
I'll second.
No.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the following transfers from 16294 Town Hall miscellaneous, $225.45 to 16222 Town Hall equipment, 16294 Town Hall miscellaneous, $808.62 to 16234 Town Hall telephone, 16274 Town Hall repairs, $5,037.80 to 16264 Town Hall capital improvement, 19904 contingency account, $1,549.11 to 19104 unallocated insurance, 19904 contingency account, $1,335 to 80254 planning board attorney fees, professional fees.
Okay, we have a motion to accept these transfers.
I'll make the motion to accept these transfers.
Tom?
I'll second.
Lou?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
No.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 74 to 83 in the amount of $7,142.67 for the water claims.
We have a motion to accept this.
I'll make the motion.
Doug?
I'll second.
And Lou?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes. The next one is not the table, Sandy.
Yeah, we did get Nick's, I gave
I see.
you, but the other one, okay. The amend the resolution for the fencing, we did not receive a bill from them for the amended amount, so we don't have that money. Princetown budget public hearing, it is hereby resolved that in accordance with the provisions of Law 106, Town Law, and other applicable provisions of the law, the Town Board of the Town of Princetown approves and adopts the 2017 tentative budget as the 2017 preliminary budget. Such preliminary budget will be filed in the office of the town clerk where it is available for public inspection, and the Town Board of the Town of Princetown will meet on October 25th, 2016 at 7:00 p.m., a special meeting at the Princetown Town Hall, 165 Princetown Plaza, Schenectady, New York, 12306, to hold a public hearing on aforementioned preliminary budget. The town clerk shall give legal notice in the Daily Gazette of this special meeting, public hearing, at least 5 days prior to the public hearing. The public notice shall also be posted on the town signboard at least 5 days prior to the meeting.
We have a motion to accept this.
I'll make it.
Lou?
I'll second.
And Tom?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
No.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
It is hereby resolved that the town board change the November meeting to the third Tuesday of the month, the 15th, instead of Tuesday, November 8th.
We have a motion to accept this resolution. The reason for that is November 8th is the election.
Oh,
day.
that's right.
So, and the bills and invoices wouldn't be here by the 1st, so we had to move it up to the following Tuesday after Election Day.
I'll make it.
Hello?
I'll second.
Doug?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
The resolution determining sufficient water supply and authorizing outside water agreement with Richard Ducey. Mr. Ducey owns a home and property located at 1448 Darrow Road in the towns of Princetown and Waynesburg. The attorney for the town has prepared a proposed outside user agreement for the approval of the town of Waynesburg, the property owner, and the town of Princetown. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board, the town of Princetown, acting as the Board of Water Commissioners for Princetown Water District Extension Number 1, hereby finds that the water district has sufficient capacity to extend service to Mr. Ducey's property at 1448 Darrow Road, and be it further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to enter into the proposed outside user agreement with Richard Ducey, subject to the approval of the town of Waynesburg and Mr. Ducey.
Okay, we do have a new outside user agreement that our attorney and George Mead have worked on. So we have a motion to accept this outside user agreement. Well, just for somebody outside of our town, that's outside of our water district, they would pay the extra fee 1.5 times. And what we have done in the past, people that are outside our water district, have been allowed to apply as an outside user. So that's what this is all about, and it's just a resident that's outside of our town limits that wants to look into our water as an outside water user.
I'm good for it. I'll make a motion.
Doug?
I'll second.
Tom?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes. Okay. That takes care of our actual business for right now. Do we have any comments from our council members? Concerns? No? No?
Got anything to? No. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You don't mind, I can keep it short and sweet, I know, Bob, but you mind if I answer some of our concerns that were presented to us?
You're more than welcome.
The computers, the reason that we did not approve it, for the previous administration was the former supervisor wanted to go to the cloud, which was a monthly cost that we did not think that was necessary for a small town. After Jim Pavoldi, who handled the upgrading of our computer system, dealt with Omnis, and they came up with the idea that this was not necessary. Omnis did not recommend it for a small town. We only have 2,300 people. To go to the cloud would have been a monthly cost. And if I would like Jim to stand up and give his opinion on this.
Yeah, on this, definitely, they have been with us basically since we had computers. So, they're a vendor that we are familiar with. They're right down on Erie Boulevard in Schenectady. They're very convenient. When we need them, they come. When I call them, they answer. When anybody calls them, they answer. This is the kind of service that we want and need in the town. We do not have an IT specialist in town. I have volunteered my time to help out a little bit, but I can't do that on a regular basis. So we use them. They're great people. Everybody practically on this town board has had to call them at one time or another, and they come. They do what they have to do. Now, to switch gears or switch horses in midstream and save $100 or a couple $100, and I don't even know if you could do that, and go to somebody else, it just didn't make sense. We We take their counsel seriously. They recommended that we utilize the brand new server that we purchased rather than going to the cloud. That eliminated a monthly fee. It works perfectly fine. There's no problem with it. And it makes sense to go with their judgment. So that's how we wound up with Omnis and with using our current server rather than the cloud.
Thank you, Jim.
Excuse me?
And I take exception to the fact that people on the town board do not use computers. I, for one, do and have been, so I take exception to that. The things that we've accomplished in the last year, since January, we've gotten a grant for handicapped accessible doors that were paid for by the state, provided by a grant by Angelo Santa Barbara. We did that. We upgraded our security system for smoke detectors and carbon monoxide, which should have been done. I've complained about it over the years that we had no smoke detectors in this place. It did not go to any place. There was no thing that protected us from that. We upgraded that, and I would like, Jim was a former fireman with the city of Schenectady. If you'd like to comment on that again, Jim, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, well, first of all, the CO detectors are mandated by the state. We have to have them. There isn't any option there, so we had to do that. In addition to that, a local alarm system where let's say that there's a fire and the alarms go off. You've probably all seen that commercial where the guy's in the bank and the bank's being robbed and the guy's got his uniform on and they said, well, what are you going to do? He said, I just notified the problem. You're getting robbed. You're definitely getting, I mean, that's basically what we had here. In other words, there was no way for our alarm system to link into police, fire, anything. Right now we have a system that does that. So even if the building is empty and there's a fire, the alarm will respond to the fire department. Somebody will know, somebody will respond. You don't have to have somebody physically in the building. That's called a local alarm. We don't have it anymore. So that's a huge improvement. I mean, it is our building, it's our obligation to protect it, and this system will.
Thank you, Jim. State Police building, we've made many improvements over the last, from January to now. Too numerous to mention. If you've attended the town hall, the town board meetings, you'll know that all of the upgrades have been done. We've upgraded the roads, Willow Run, which was not done for years. We never spent any money up there. We're now in the process. We just started to do that, thanks to Bob and Nick.
4 years we went without anything on the highway.
And both of them have worked with to get this done, and they're going to continue to do it next year. We never spent any money on that for a good number of years, and the roads deteriorated, and now the new town board has been stuck to upgrade those roads, and we begin to do that. As far as the Justice Department, I can tell you this, that the current judge had a budget. It was given to him. He knew his budget. He knew what it was. He decided to exceed his budget. This had nothing to do with the town hall or the town board. Everybody has a budget in this town, from the town clerk to myself to managing the state police building, which I do, and I do it just because just to do it. I do not charge the town to do this. I have a budget. Everybody, the water department has a budget. Everybody has a budget in town. And if you exceed that budget, you have to come up with a reason why. And he chose to exceed that budget. And the town board decided that we were not going to allow X number of dollars more to do this. Everybody has a budget. We're on a limited budget in this town. We do not have a town tax, and I will never support a town tax. So if we wanted to proceed down that road for a town tax, then this is the route we have to go. Everybody should be living within their means. That's my take on the justice. And as far as getting 3 estimates. Maybe we should talk to the former supervisor about having his son-in-law doing painting for the town, and bring that up and see what he's got to say about that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Actually, I do have some that I've been hanging on to for a while. Some months back, we discussed the rental fee of the community room, and we kind of decided that it was way under market. I took a survey of some other community rooms in the area, and they're basically charging from $200 to $300 for similar size rooms. I think we can just up our fee, and also in addition to that, I think it's a matter of education. I don't think all our constituents or the public at large knows that we have a community room to rent out. So I think it could be just another whatever revenue source for the town to for our people's enjoyment.
You know, is that for outside users or our own town
Well,
residents?
we have our town residents, and then with a discounted fee, and then outside of our town, an additional fee. And the fees for similar community rooms range from $200 to $300, and we're woefully below that. So I just recommend that we up it. Maybe we don't have to up it all at one shot, but increase the fee so it's a reasonable, worth our effort of renting it out and cleaning it afterwards.
Okay. We can certainly take a look at that. Okay. All right, anything else?
Yes, I do. I'd just like to thank all of the volunteers that have come together to help bring the wall at heels to the town of Princetown. It was a great event honoring our veterans from the Vietnam conflict, and we had a tremendous turnout. There was over 8,000 people that attended this event. This was one of their largest turnouts, and they travel all over the country doing this. For a standalone event, this was one of their largest, and I've got thank you notes from them thanking us for their our hospitality, and they were more than pleased to do this. This was the only time in New York State that the wall at heels was in New York. There was other ones that came around, but it's not the foundation that did the one in Washington, D.C. This was the actual foundation that built the wall in Washington. And it was a tremendous turnout, and I want to thank all of the volunteers that donated their time. Shelmont High School for donating the buses. It was a tremendous event, and I thank everybody that did it, that helped contribute to it.
All right. Anything further from the board members? Okay, and I don't see any of our department heads here, so there's nobody to call on for any reports. Tommy is extremely busy with his office. He's been really he just had a lot of people waiting to see him, so if we have nothing further here, we'll open it back up for privilege of the floor if anybody else has anything to say before we move on to executive session. Yes, Michelle.
Michelle Van, I just want to say thank you, Ben. You did an outstanding job with the video.
Yes.
Every time I watch it, it brings me to tears. So thank you very much for that and contributing that.
I concur with that, and if you haven't seen the video, I would encourage you to make an effort to look at it. It really is nice. And we're actually hoping that possibly sometime as winter wears on here, when we all get a little bored and stir crazy with the snow and the cold, we're thinking about maybe having a little event here where we can show that video. We have large screens, we have all that stuff, and it might be fun, just to get around, bring some, cookies and stuff like that, and just get together, kind of like the way we do. We can, of course, if it pleases everyone, we can leave the Lord out of it so that we don't offend anyone. We certainly don't want to do that, of course. We don't want to offend. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying that, So we're thinking about doing that this winter. I think that would be nice, and I'm hoping to be able to set something like that up. But we'll work with the board to see if we can do that.
I would like to thank Ben too. Thank you, Ben.
Happy to do it.
And he donated his time for this, did not charge the town for anything. He escorted us in from the state line. He paid for all of his own expenses. He did a great job. And it is on TV, the Access Channel. So I'm sure a lot of people in the town have seen it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you again, Ben.
No problems, happy to do it. All right, well, if there's no further comments from the floor, we do have executive session to go to for a legal matter. So, we have a motion to go into executive session, I'll do that now.
It is hereby resolved that the town board go into executive session to discuss a legal matter at 7:37 PM.
We have a motion to accept that?
I'll make it.
Second.
Lou?
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Councilman Esposito,
Yes.
Councilman LaBelle,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer, Supervisor Myers.
Yes.
I think we got to